Well, recently it was announced that the Mandeville Hospital has successfully performed its first ever colonoscopy. It's a major milestone for public healthcare in southern Jamaica. For that hospital in particular, here to tell us more, Consultant General Surgeon for the Mandeville Regional Hospital, Dr. Andrew Josephs. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Doc.
And congratulations, I guess, are in order. This has been a little while in the making. You've wanted to see this happen for a long time.
Definitely. So we realized when we kind of had a look at our operative outcomes in patients with cancers, particularly colon, stomach, that unfortunately a lot of our patients were presenting as emergencies with advanced cancers. So when that happens, there's not much we can do in terms of cure. And a lot of our patients were having what we call just palliative care. Right? So we looked at it to see, hey, what was the problem? And it's kind of twofold. One is either lack of knowledge, fear of investigations, and then there's also lack of access. So it's not just a colonoscopy, but colonoscopy and upper endoscopy. That's evaluating the stomach, upper intestines, colonoscopy below. Right? So we realized that it wasn't available in the public system within our health region. And so we sought to get assistance in making this happen.
And the colonoscopy deals mainly with, is that colorectal cancer? Or?
That's correct, colorectal.
Which is the third leading cause of death.
Correct, both in males and females. So it's supplanted only by prostate and also by breast cancer.
What would cause that?
Right, so the good thing about colon cancer is that we know the cause. It's caused from what are called polyps. So polyps are tiny growths that, if left alone over a few years, develop into tumors and eventually cancers. So the good thing is, if you catch it at the stage of a polyp, you can remove it and prevent cancers from developing. Simple, right? However,
sounds simple.
It sounds simple, right? However, we find that fear of the procedure, it's more invasive clearly than having something like a blood test or a mammogram, etc. So that's part of it, but part, as you said, is also the economics of the test.
And the polyps would be where?
So the polyps are within the colon rectum. It's called a large intestine, so it grows on the inside. So that's the issue. When there are polyps, you really have no symptoms. Occasionally you may have something like blood in stool, etc. But when you reach that stage, it's often pretty advanced. So the key thing here is to try and prevent it from reaching to that stage at all.
Yeah. That test, though, how does it, you say it's invasive, you put the patient under? Is that how it generally works?
It's variable and it depends on the patient. So everybody has different experiences. Some patients, we use mild conscious sedation. So they are awake during the procedure, they look at the screen, they ask you questions, they interact. Then there are the patients who are like, no.
Put me to bed,
exactly, I think I can imagine. Wait, I figured as much. So the key is just to make sure that you're comfortable. Yeah. And I'd say 7 to 8 out of 10 of our patients are able to do it with conscious sedation. Some don't need full anesthesia for the procedure to be done.
Is this a lifestyle thing, or are we not eating properly, or is it?
It's a combination of things. So there is a familial risk. So sometimes it's something that develops because of a history of cancer in the family. So if you have a brother, sister, mother, etc., who've had colon cancer, increases the risk. A lot is also lifestyle, yes. So poor diet, we heard from our farmer earlier. But so you want diets that's higher in fresh fruits, vegetables, less red meats, processed foods, etc. Lack of exercise, obesity, smoking. There are quite a few factors, but it's multifactorial for sure.
Simone already asked about where it is, and I think you said number 3. But what kind of numbers we're looking at here now?
Right. So in terms of numbers, you can easily be anywhere between 300 to 700 cases per year, based off the latest data. So it is pretty prevalent, and we may be missing some of those cases as well.
Yeah.
But, the key thing is that it is preventable if you investigate early. Right.
Early means?
Early means without symptoms. Now,
early means in terms of age?
In terms of age, so the standard age would be age 45, right? So at age 45, along with your other tests that you should be getting, you need to start having a conversation with your doctor about getting your colonoscopy done. However, something to point out, so we will not have the capacity in most hospitals in Jamaica to do screening for everyone. So it's important still to have a combination of private and public. So those who can definitely seek out private care. What we're trying to focus on here are the patients that aren't able to access because of affordability, etc. and importantly, emergency cases. So we focus on colon, but just last week we're able to do, upper GI endoscopies in patients with stomach or gastric bleeds, identify the cause, and that helps to guide management. So important, we're focusing first on our inpatients, then our most needy patients from the surrounding clinics, etc. And eventually we hope with more training, more support, we can expand to the point where one day we'll be able to offer screening for the asymptomatic patient population.
Yep, Dr. Andrew, you already said 300 to 700, but of those, we're not losing all of those people, I suspect. We're saving most of those?
Well, that's the other thing. Data sometimes is lacking, which part of our drive is to look at our local numbers within our health region. But up to about stage 3, right, what we call stage 3 colon cancer, generally curable with a combination of surgery, chemotherapy, etc. Stage 4, unfortunately, for the most part, you're looking at very low 5-year survival. You're talking like 15, 20%. So the key thing once more is try and pick up and prevent from hitting that stage.
The colonoscopy is what, a little video thing? How does it?
Well, I don't think the company would appreciate it. So anyway, it's a system with a screen, essentially, cameras. It's a flexible tube that goes up through. So you put air inside.
Over there.
Yeah, there we go.
So it's a camera. I mean, I said that.
It's a flexible. Yes, it's a camera system, but it uses a flexible tube. So we're able to torque, move the tube, get it through the curves and turns of the colon to get all the way around through the large intestine.
Without that, how would you do the test?
So without this, we can't do the test essentially. So those persons have to access a care outside. There are some other tests that can be done. There's an X-ray test that's called a barium enema. There's some other options, but the gold standard, most ideal.
Because those will give you false positives and false negatives.
They're false positive, false negatives. And anyway, if those are positive, you still have to go to the colonoscopy to get a biopsy or a sample to know what you're dealing with.
So this machine,
yes, so that's what we're looking at right there, right?
Yeah, so this is state of the art. So it has, 4K resolution. There are lots of other features, but the key thing you want is good lighting, good resolution, and the ability to wash, suction, flush, etc., amongst others. And it has the ability to do what's called a biopsy. So for very small polyps, you can remove those at the same time. For larger ones, we tag the area, biopsy, and it's something you have to address surgery.
But I'm not seeing a patient there.
It's a demo, silly. This machine is a game changer.
Definitely.
Very expensive machine, so God bless the donors that have now given you the opportunity to do this. Do you want to say who they are?
Sure. So I think it's a combination between the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Food for the Poor, and they were supported by the local distributor for the Olympus brand, that's A. Lacqui, who has been pretty essential in the ongoing training of the staff, etc., to use the machine, reprocess, clean, and support ongoing for servicing, etc.
Yep. Yeah. We were speaking before we came on about what you need. So this one machine is not going to do it?
No, definitely not. A very good start, no doubt. But the dream one day is to have what we call a dedicated gastrointestinal GI unit, where this is all that's done there. So we'll be able to use multiple days to provide more procedures. Right now, we have about one set day that we do these procedures, and we can do anywhere from maybe 8 to 10, depending on the complexity. And we are able to do emergencies in between.
How much for the machine?
Easily above 300,000 US. That's about 50 plus million Jamaican upwards.
And typically to access this kind of service, what would it cost a layman?
It depends, but it's easily anywhere between 70,000 to 100,000+, depending on the facility where it's done, etc. So it's not easy, right? It's not cheap. So
and how often is it recommended that we do one?
Oh, so that's a good thing. If you do the colonoscopy and it's normal, it's 7 to 10 years before you have to repeat. So it's not yearly like your mammograms, etc. If you find polyps or the abnormalities, that drops down to 5 years or 3 years, depending on the number, the type, and the risk involved.
So before this, everyone would have had to come to Kingston to do something like this?
Not Kingston, really. I mean, in the southern region, there are a number of private entities, including myself, who do colonoscopies. But the key focus here is to get it available, as I said, in the public system and get it to those persons who are most needy, who wouldn't be able to access it otherwise.
How many have you done?
Not so much because of Melissa. We're down for a little while. Plus, we're also renovating our operating theatres at Mandeville. They've completed that now. So we're maybe at about the 6 mark. right? But once we get our dedicated day going, as I said, those numbers will have a significant uptick.
Was the hospital impacted by the hurricane?
Not badly, thank goodness. So we're able to support the other hospitals in the region, but not badly at all.
Oh, beautiful.
So the equipment that you have now, I've read, makes you you have the most state-of-the-art equipment.
Yes, yes, certainly. It's the latest brand from Olympus, lots of bells and whistles. But we're looking forward to putting it to good use.
Fantastic. And you're looking forward to putting it to good use for the people of that area, because you know now people are watching and saying, hey, when
you go back to work, you see about, I see upon TV this morning, you have come to.
That's quite possible.
Mandeville is not a far journey now, you know.
It definitely is not. Definitely is not.
And so that you will accommodate?
Yes. Well, we're focusing mainly on the region first. We'll build out slowly. And as I said, with further support, we will look towards achieving that GI unit sometime in the future.
Are things in place for you to get more? I know you need donors, but
yes, we can accommodate. So we have the capacity to accommodate, and we can do more once we have additional machineries. And we're also working on training of our own staff, you know, so that our own surgical residents, primarily at first, will be able to also perform. So we'll increase output that way for certain.
Which school is that, sir?
The only school, sir. This is Kingston College. But that may take another segment for us to explain fully.
No. I've always thought that there were.
People take all segments.
No, I always thought that there were two outstanding facilities on North Street, George's and the Gleaner Company.
I think that's the Gleaner Company, definitely, but the opposite side of North Street. But we won't get into that. I'll forgive it today.
Doc, one more question for the folks who are thinking about doing this. What's your encouragement? Because people are afraid, especially men.
Yes.
Afraid.
The thing is, have a discussion, right?
Yeah.
Have a discussion with your doctor. Don't go with myths, etc. It's not as bad as you think. It's actually excellent, and it's a lifesaver. So do it today.
And as far as the procedure is concerned, little bit of anesthesia. You just a one injection.
So it's an IV. So we give as needed.
As needed. All right. And the process and the procedure itself takes.
The procedure can take anywhere from maybe 20 to 30 minutes on average.
And then afterwards, you need to just stay there for a little bit so you
a little bit to recover, and then you're back to normal.
If you don't have the anesthesia, just knock me out. Just dump me down flat.
That can be arranged for certain.
We don't want to say nothing.
I will help in that.
Stop. Fortis.
Oh, jeez.
Consultant General Surgeon for the Mandeville Regional Hospital, Dr. Andrew Josephs.
Yeah, up next, Justice Without Barriers. We'll be right back with more on Smile.